Imagine standing in a place where the horizon never seems to end, and the sky feels so close it could almost touch your shoulders. This is Mongolia, often called the land of the eternal blue sky, with over 250 days of sunshine each year. The country is bathed in light, its skies painted in brilliant shades of blue that change with every passing hour. Here the land is raw and powerful, rolling grasslands, rugged mountains and deserts that stretch into forever. It is a place of contrasts where winter bites with fierce cold and summer blazes with heat, yet beauty never fades. To step into Mongolia is to enter a world where nature dominates, and every scene feels timeless, as if untouched by the rush of the modern world. And within this vast land lie wonders that seem almost otherworldly, from fiery cliffs and singing sands in the Gobi Desert to sacred lakes that shine like jewels beneath the mountains. Each of these places tells its own story, waiting to be discovered. In the far north of Mongolia, cradled between forested mountains, lies Lake Khovsgol, a place so pure and vast that it feels like stepping into another world. Known as the Blue Pearl of Mongolia, this freshwater lake is one of the country's greatest natural treasures, stretching nearly 140 kilometers long and up to 260 meters deep. It holds almost 70% of Mongolia's fresh water. Its scale is astonishing, but what truly makes it magical is its clarity. The water is so clean that you can see deep beneath the surface, and in places it is safe enough to drink straight from the lake. Lake Khovsgol is sometimes called the sister of Russia's Lake Baikal. And like Baikal, it was formed millions of years ago by ancient tectonic shifts. Surrounded by thick forests and snow-capped peaks, the lake changes color with the sky, from deep sapphire to shimmering turquoise. On calm days, its surface becomes a perfect mirror, reflecting clouds, mountains, and even the flight of eagles overhead. It is a place where silence and beauty merge, leaving travelers with a sense of calm and wonder. For Mongolians, Khovsgol is more than just a lake. It is sacred. Local shamans believe it holds powerful spirits, and traditional rituals are often performed on its shores. Many people still whisper prayers or leave offerings when they approach the water, asking for blessings or safe passage. Nomadic herders bring their animals to graze in the summer meadows nearby, living in harmony with the land as their ancestors have for centuries. Wildlife also flourishes around the lake. Deer and moose roam the forests, wolves prowl in the shadows, and rare birds stop here during their long migrations. Beneath the surface swim more than a dozen species of fish, including the lenok and grayling, which are vital to local diets and traditions. Visiting Khovsgol is not only about seeing a lake, it is about experiencing Mongolia's deep connection to nature. In winter, its frozen surface becomes a highway for travelers and even hosts ice festivals, while in summer, its blue waters and green valleys welcome adventurers and pilgrims alike. The Blue Pearl is both timeless and alive, a wonder that embodies Mongolia's wild spirit. In western Mongolia, where the steppe rises into sharp peaks, stand the mighty Altai Mountains, a land of snow, stone, and legend. This vast mountain range forms the natural border between Mongolia, China, Russia, and Kazakhstan. And for centuries, it has been home to nomadic tribes who live in close harmony with its rugged beauty. With its glaciers, high valleys, and ancient rock art, the Altai is not just a landscape. It is a living wonder that carries the spirit of Mongolia's past and present. The Altai is perhaps best known for its connection with golden eagle hunters, a tradition kept alive by Kazakh nomads in the region. Every autumn during the Eagle Festival, hunters showcase their skills, riding on horseback with majestic eagles perched on their arms. These birds are trained to hunt foxes and hares, their sharp eyes spotting prey from high above. The bond between hunter and eagle is extraordinary, built on trust, respect, and a way of life passed down for generations. Watching an eagle swoop across the mountains, wings spread wide against the sky, is a sight that leaves travelers in awe. Yet the Altai is also rich in history. Scattered across its valleys are ancient petroglyphs, carvings on rock faces that date back thousands of years. These images of hunters, animals, and rituals tell stories of the people who once lived here, leaving behind a gallery of humanity's earliest art beneath the open sky. The mountains themselves are considered sacred, with local traditions seeing them as guardians of the land. Nature here is as dramatic as the culture. The peaks are capped with snow even in summer, and glaciers carve their way down through valleys. Rivers born from the ice flow into green pastures, where herders graze their animals in the short but lush summer season. Wildlife such as ibex, argale sheep, and even snow leopards make their home in these highlands, proving how life adapts to the harshest conditions. The Altai Mountains are a wonder of contrasts, harsh yet breathtaking, ancient yet alive. To travel here is to witness Mongolia at its wildest, a place where humans, animals, and nature live side by side, bound together by survival and tradition. The Altai is not just mountains, it is a world of eagles, ice, and timeless stories. The Gobi Desert is one of Mongolia's most remarkable landscapes, but it is far more than endless sand. Spanning thousands of kilometers across the south, the Gobi is a place of surprising variety. Towering dunes, rocky cliffs, wide valleys, and patches of grassland where nomads still herd their animals. At first sight, it may look harsh and empty, yet hidden within its vastness are wonders that make it unforgettable. Among the Gobi's greatest sights are the Kongorin Els, also called the Singing Dunes. These dunes rise like golden waves against the horizon, some reaching heights of 300 meters. When the wind moves across their slopes, the sand produces a deep humming sound, almost like music drifting through the desert. Locals say the dunes carry the voices of spirits, while travelers stand in awe of the natural song echoing across the silence. Not far away lies another wonder, the flaming cliffs of Bayanzag. Their red and orange rocks glow brilliantly in the evening light, making them look like they are on fire, but their true wonder lies in what was discovered here. Dinosaur fossils, including the world's first dinosaur eggs, uncovered in the 1920s. This discovery changed science forever, proving dinosaurs laid eggs and turning the Gobi into one of the world's most important paleontological sites. Life also thrives here in unexpected ways. The two-humped Bactrian camel, perfectly suited for the desert, carries nomads and their belongings across this challenging land. Wild animals like gazelles, foxes, and even the rare Gobi bear survive in its toughest corners. Despite the desert's extreme heat in summer and bitter cold in winter, life adapts and endures. The Gobi is more than a desert. It is a place where history, nature, and mystery blend together. From singing sands to fiery cliffs and ancient fossils, it reveals wonders that few expect to find in such a barren land. It stands as one of Mongolia's greatest treasures, a landscape that tells stories of both the past and the present. In the heart of Mongolia lies the Orkhon Valley, a place where history and landscape intertwine so deeply that it is often called the cradle of nomadic civilization. Stretching along the Orkhon River, this fertile valley has been a center of power, culture, and tradition for over 2,000 years. Today, it is recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, not only for its natural beauty, but for the role it has played in shaping Mongolia's identity. Long before the rise of Genghis Khan, the Orkhon Valley was home to ancient empires and steppe confederations. The Turks, the Uyghurs, and other great nomadic peoples all built their capitals here, leaving behind stone monuments, inscriptions, and ruins that still stand against the vast open sky. Walking through the valley feels like stepping back in time. You can almost imagine the hoofbeats of horsemen and the sound of voices rising from ancient camps. The valley's heart is the Orkhon River, which has nourished life here for centuries. Its flowing waters made this land a rare oasis in Mongolia's rugged landscape, attracting nomadic clans who depended on rich pastures for their animals. Even today, herders bring their horses, sheep, and cattle to graze on its green banks, continuing a rhythm of life that has lasted for generations. One of the most famous sites within the valley is the Orkhon inscriptions, carved in the 8th century by the Turkic people. These writings, etched into stone, tell stories of battles, leaders, and spiritual beliefs, giving us one of the earliest written records of steppe culture. Nearby lie the ruins of Karabalgasun, the capital of the Uyghur Empire, its stones still whispering of a time when this valley was the center of a vast realm. But the Orkhon Valley is not only about history, it is also breathtaking in its natural beauty. Rolling hills, wide meadows, and distant mountains frame the horizon, creating a landscape both peaceful and powerful. At the Orkhon waterfall, known locally as Ulan Tsutgalan, the river plunges dramatically into a rocky canyon, adding another wonder to the valley's timeless scene. To stand in the Orkhon Valley is to stand where empires once rose and fell, where the roots of Mongolia's nomadic spirit were planted, and where life continues much as it always has. It is a living museum beneath the open sky, a wonder that connects the past with the present. In the rolling grasslands of central Mongolia lie the remains of Karakorum, the ancient capital of the Mongol Empire. Though today it may appear as a quiet, windswept site, centuries ago it was the beating heart of the largest empire the world had ever seen. Founded by Genghis Khan in the early 13th century, Karakorum was more than just a city. It was a symbol of power, ambition, and the meeting of cultures. When the Mongol Empire stretched from China to Europe, Karakorum stood at its center. Caravans from the Silk Road brought goods, scholars, and ideas from distant lands. Here, traders from Persia, China, and Russia mingled, making the city a hub of global exchange. Chronicles describe it as a place where mosques, temples, and churches stood side by side, reflecting the Mongols' unusual tolerance for many faiths. For a time, Karakorum represented a new kind of world order, one that connected East and West. Today, little remains of Genghis Khan's city, but its legacy lives on in the Erdin Zu monastery, built in the 16th century using stones from the ancient capital. This monastery, with its white walls and golden rooftops, is the oldest surviving Buddhist monastery in Mongolia and still an active place of worship. Walking among its temples and stupas, you feel the layers of history. First the empire of horsemen, then the rise of Buddhism, and finally the endurance of faith through centuries of change. The surrounding steppe also carries the spirit of the past. Imagine the vast camps of warriors who once gathered here, their horses grazing on the same fields where herders' animals now wander. The winds that sweep across the valley feel like whispers of history, reminding visitors that this quiet land once shaped the fate of continents. Karakoram may not tower with stone walls or monuments today, but its wonder lies in the stories it holds. It was here that the Mongol Empire took shape. Here that Genghis Khan's vision of a united steppe people became real, and here that the seeds of global connection were planted. To stand in Karakoram is to stand at the crossroads of history in a place that changed the world forever. At the edge of Mongolia's vast steppes rises Ulaanbaatar, a city of contrasts and extremes. It is the capital and the largest city in the country, home to nearly half of Mongolia's population. Here, the rhythms of modern life meet the traditions of the nomadic past, creating a place that feels both ancient and new, both familiar and utterly unique. Ulaanbaatar is often called the coldest capital city in the world. Winters here are long and severe, with temperatures dropping far below freezing, while summers can be surprisingly warm and lively. This sharp contrast mirrors the city itself, a landscape of glass towers standing beside traditional jurs, bustling traffic weaving past Buddhist temples, and modern cafes set against Soviet-era monuments. The extremes are everywhere, yet somehow they blend into a city full of energy and resilience. One of the city's most important landmarks is the Ganden Monastery, the spiritual heart of Mongolian Buddhism. Here, monks chant prayers as worshippers spin prayer wheels and offer incense. The centerpiece is a massive golden statue of the Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara, a symbol of compassion towering over visitors. It is a reminder that even in a busy capital, spirituality remains at the core of Mongolian identity. Beyond its temples, Ulaanbaatar is also a city of history and culture. The National Museum of Mongolia houses treasures that tell the story of the steppe, from Stone Age artifacts to the conquests of Genghis Khan. The Sukbaatar Square at the city's center honors the revolutionary hero Damdin Sukbaatar, who helped secure Mongolia's independence in the 20th century. Around the square, modern government buildings rise, standing as symbols of the country's continued transformation. Yet despite its modern face, Ulaanbaatar never feels too far from the steppe. Many city dwellers still maintain ties to their nomadic roots, and it is common to see herders bringing their animals close to the city's edge. This connection between urban and rural life gives Ulaanbaatar its unique character, a city shaped by tradition yet open to change. Ulaanbaatar may not have the size of global capitals, but its wonder lies in its extremes: freezing cold and warm hospitality, ancient monasteries and modern skyscrapers, nomadic spirit and urban ambition. It is a city that tells Mongolia's story in one place, a story of survival, adaptation, and a people who thrive under the eternal blue sky. Just outside Ulaanbaatar lies Terelj National Park, a place where Mongolia's natural beauty comes alive in dramatic form. Only a short drive from the capital, it feels like stepping into a different world, one of towering granite cliffs, rolling meadows and rivers winding through green valleys. For many travelers, Terelj is the easiest window into Mongolia's wild landscapes, yet it still feels untouched and timeless. One of the park's most famous landmarks is Turtle Rock, a massive stone formation that resembles a giant turtle resting on the land. Over centuries, the wind and weather carved this shape into the rock, turning it into one of Mongolia's most photographed natural wonders. Nearby, perched on a hillside, stands the Aryabal Meditation Temple, a peaceful retreat overlooking the valley. Visitors climb a winding path lined with prayer inscriptions to reach it. And once at the top, the view stretches endlessly across the park, offering both serenity and inspiration. But Terilj is not only about its landmarks, it is about the experience of nature itself. Wide fields burst with wildflowers in summer, while pine forests cloak the hillsides in deep green. In winter, snow transforms the park into a silent wonderland where frozen rivers glisten in the sun. Nomadic herders still bring their animals here, setting up jers along the valleys, so the park feels alive with the rhythm of traditional life. Visitors can stay in these jers, ride horses across the plains, or simply sit under the vast sky, breathing in the crisp air. Wildlife also thrives in Terilj. Marmots scurry among the rocks, eagles soar overhead, and if you are lucky, you may even spot deer or wolves moving quietly through the forest. The park is large enough to feel wild, yet close enough to the capital to be easily explored, making it one of Mongolia's most accessible natural wonders. What makes Terilj so special is the way it captures Mongolia's essence in one place, striking landscapes, sacred sites, and living traditions. It shows that even near the city, Mongolia's wild spirit remains strong. To walk here is to feel both peace and adventure, surrounded by the beauty that makes this land so unique. Far in western Mongolia, surrounded by mountains and wide plains, lies Lake Uvs, the largest lake in the country and one of its most remarkable natural wonders, spanning over 3,300 square kilometers. It is so vast that standing on its shores feels like standing beside an inland sea. Yet unlike many of Mongolia's famous freshwater lakes, Uvs is salty, its waters undrinkable, its shores crusted with minerals left behind over thousands of years. This salty nature makes it unique, a shimmering mirror of sky and land that seems both barren and beautiful at the same time. Lake Uvs is more than just size, it is also a sanctuary of life. The lake and its surrounding wetlands are part of a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve, one of the most ecologically diverse places in Central Asia. Despite its salty waters, the region supports an incredible range of wildlife. More than 200 species of birds have been recorded here, including migratory swans, geese, and rare Dalmatian pelicans. Every spring and autumn, the lake becomes a stopover for countless flocks, traveling along their ancient routes across Asia. The surrounding landscape is just as diverse. Snowy mountains rise in the distance, while deserts and grassy steppes stretch out along its edges. This mix of ecosystems allows animals as different as camels and reindeer, wolves and ibex to live within the same region. It is one of the few places in the world where you can find such a variety of climates and wildlife in a single area. For local herders, Lake Uvs holds cultural meaning as well. The waters are seen as sacred, and ovu cairns, stone piles used for offerings, can be found along its shores. The lake has also been linked to legends of spirits, believed to protect both the land and the people who live nearby. Even today, many visitors whisper prayers or leave offerings when they visit, honoring the ancient traditions of respect for nature. What makes Lake Uvs a true wonder is not just its sheer size, but the way it brings together extremes, salt and life, desert and ice, birds and mountains, all in one place. To stand at its edge is to feel both the emptiness of the steppe and the richness of life hidden within it. Like much of Mongolia, it is a land of contrasts, vast and untamed. Amarbayazgalant Monastery, hidden spiritual wonder. Tucked away in a quiet valley of northern Mongolia lies the Amarbayazgalant Monastery, one of the country's most beautiful and historically important monasteries. Surrounded by rolling green hills and open skies, it feels like a hidden world of peace, far removed from the noise of modern life. Unlike the crowded temples of great cities, Amarbayazgalant stands in silence, its golden rooftops and carved wooden beams shining against the vastness of the steppe. Built in the 18th century by order of the Manchu Emperor of China, the monastery was dedicated to Zanabazar, Mongolia's first spiritual leader and one of its most revered figures. It was designed with a blend of Mongolian and Chinese architectural styles, giving it a unique character, elegant courtyards, prayer halls, and statues that reflect both power and devotion. Even after centuries of history, much of its original structure still stands, making it a rare survivor of Mongolia's Buddhist heritage. During the 20th century, many monasteries in Mongolia were destroyed or abandoned, yet Amarbayazgalant endured. Though some buildings were damaged, it remained a place of worship, and over time, restoration efforts have brought new life to its sacred halls. Today, monks live and practice here once again, filling the air with the sound of chanting, the turning of prayer wheels, and the soft rhythm of ritual. The setting itself adds to the monastery's wonder. Nestled in the Ivan Valley, far from towns or cities, the journey to reach Amarbayazgalant feels like a pilgrimage. As you approach, the golden roofs rise gently above the hills, as if the monastery has grown naturally out of the earth. Once inside its walls, the atmosphere shifts. You feel the stillness, the calm, and the weight of centuries of prayer lingering in the air. For travelers, Amarbayazgalant offers more than architecture or history. It offers a glimpse into Mongolia's spiritual soul. It shows how faith has endured through hardship and how sacred places can remain alive even in the most remote landscapes. To stand here is to witness not just a monastery, but a wonder of resilience, beauty, and devotion hidden beneath Mongolia's eternal blue sky. Every summer, Mongolia bursts into color, energy, and tradition with the Naadam Festival, the nation's most important and beloved celebration. More than just a festival, Naadam is a living wonder, a showcase of Mongolia's history, culture, and identity that has lasted for centuries. To Mongolians, it is not entertainment alone, but a reflection of their nomadic spirit and their deep connection to the land. The heart of Naadam lies in the three manly games: wrestling, horse racing, and archery. These competitions date back to the time of Genghis Khan, when they were used to test the strength, skill, and courage of warriors. Today, they remain at the center of the festival, blending tradition with celebration. Wrestling is the most prestigious event. Men dressed in traditional costumes grapple in open fields, surrounded by cheering crowds. There are no weight classes, only strength, skill, and endurance, making every match a true test of ability. Horse racing at Naadam is unlike anywhere else in the world. The riders are not seasoned adults, but children, some as young as 5 or 6 years old, who guide their small but powerful Mongolian horses across distances of up to 30 kilometers. The race is not about speed alone, but about stamina, endurance, and the deep bond between rider and horse. Watching hundreds of horses gallop across the steppe, their manes flying in the wind, is a breathtaking sight that embodies Mongolia's eternal love for these animals. Archery completes the triad of games, with men and women competing side by side. Archers draw traditional bows, launching arrows toward distant targets, guided by centuries of skill passed down through generations. The contests are not just about accuracy, but about discipline, patience, and focus, qualities valued deeply in nomadic life. Beyond the competitions, Naadam is a celebration of Mongolian pride. People dress in colorful deel, the traditional long tunic, and gather with family and friends to feast on dumplings, dairy products, and ayrag, the famous fermented mare's milk. Music, dance, and cultural performances fill the air, turning every city, town, and village into a place of joy. Naadam is more than a festival. It is Mongolia's heartbeat. It brings together the strength of warriors, the spirit of nomads, and the unity of a nation under the eternal blue sky. To witness it is to see Mongolia itself alive, proud, and timeless,